Today is the 14th of January.
Yeah, still counting the days.
Yes, I'm still counting the days. I made a promise to the viewers that I'll always count days until the end of this year. So help me God.
This year or this month?
Of this year.
Oh, really?
Yes. Let's see how that goes. I hope I do not forget. But then, I feel like we are supposed to bet to this, but then let me just leave it to that. This is how we welcome you to the Idea Morning Digest this morning here on Idea TV. My name is Cynthia Bassi, and of course I am not alone. Yes, we are two peas on the pod. And
two melanines.
Two melanines talking here.
So
yes, if you like things around science, if you like things around, okay, I did not give Chidera the chance to, introduce herself properly. Chidera,
okay, my name is Chidera Okere.
Okay.
So yes, welcome to Idea Morning Digest on the 14th day of the year.
Yes, we'll be counting it together.
Yes.
All right, so if you like things we do here, we do things around science, you already know. In case you don't know, technology, entrepreneurship, research, development, policy, all of those important stories, important issues that are making headlines that matters to you and I. This is the right place to get a better perspective of it. And we like that you're kickstarting your morning with us this morning. So if you have your opinions, if you have, things you like to share with us, if you have opinions about the stories we've talked about before, the ones we're going to talk about today, we want to hear from you. You can send them to our social media handles at Idea TV or Idea Television, and via our email at Idea TV Limited. And of course, Idea Universities of Interest second edition is out there for you to download, and it's free. Yes, it is free. Okay, so before we go on that break, let us carry you through the news stories we'll be bringing your way this morning. And the first one is that Nigeria's states set aside over 500 billion naira for security amid rising killings.
And we're also bringing to you that NIMC, 9 federal agencies, to spend 24 billion naira on software in 2026.
Okay, I like how Chidera stressed that billion. But
really?
That's huge.
Really? Almost a trillion naira.
Yes. Okay, and then the last story we bring in your way this morning is that West African Social Bond makes historic debut on Luxembourg Exchange. That and more is what we'll be bringing your way this morning. And yes, we promised you yesterday that we'll be talking more about refugees here, yes, in Nigeria. And we have an expert from the African Liberty who is going to be sharing expert knowledge about it with us this morning. But then you stay with us and let's see how that unfolds. Don't go anywhere.
Number 7, nanotechnology in medicine and electronics. When you shrink technology down to the nanoscale, you open up whole new possibilities. In medicine, researchers are exploring nanoparticles that deliver chemotherapy drugs directly to tumors, reducing side effects. MIT and Brigham and Women's Hospital have developed nanosensors that can detect cancer biomarkers in blood. In electronics, nanoscale transistors are already pushing Moore's law further, with IBM unveiling a 2-nanometer chip in 2021 that promises major gains in performance and energy efficiency. The global nanotechnology market is projected to surpass $250 billion by 2030, showing just how central this field is becoming. Number 8. Self-healing materials.
Okay, good to have you back, and good to know that you are still there with us. And in case you're just joining us, this is the Idea Morning Digest. So the first story we'll be bringing to you this morning is states across Nigeria have budgeted more than 525 billion naira for security votes and related operations between 2023 and 2025, even as killings, kidnappings, and violent crimes continue to spread across the country. The figure, drawn from approved state budgets, show a steady rise in security spending, with allocations peaking in 2025. The funds were earmarked by at least 32 state governments to support intelligence gathering, crisis response, and internal security efforts, largely because worsening insecurity has forced governors to step in despite security being a federal responsibility. Borno, Anambra, Delta, and Benue recorded some of the highest allocations, while several states either disclosed very small amounts or failed to clearly publish their figures. Despite the growing expenditure, analysts, labor leaders, and civil society groups questioned the impact pointing to persistent violence, poverty, and weak local governance. They argue that without transparency, community policing, and effective use of funds, increased security votes alone will not translate into safer lives for Nigerians. And yes, let me be honest with you this morning, Chidera, and yes, to our viewers out there, because when I see figures like this, I begin to, my first reaction is not even about shock. It's fatigue. I'm tired. Like, these figures, because Nigerians have had so many huge security expenditure, and this is not the first time.
Since 2023.
Yes, since 2023, we budgeted it, and that will carry us through 2025.
Right.
And look at us, we are still here. I mean, it is exacerbating the security issues, the security challenges, killings here and there, kidnappings wherever. It's it is worsening rather. And I think most of the time we budget huge amounts of spendings on, security, and we are still seeing insecurity. It keeps evolving, it keeps spreading, it keeps deepening. And what this tells me is not that, it's not that I'm saying governors are careless to come out and say, let us vote for security spendings again, or security financing again. But it just shows that they are desperate. They want, because it's not their job as governors. It is not their job. Constitutionally, security is not the job of governors. But when we look at it, when we put because insecurity has become their problem now, whether they like it or not, because people in that state, people are being killed in your state. And what else? Who are they going to hold first? They'll come out and they'll hold you and say, what is our governor doing? What are you doing about this thing? What are you not doing about this thing? So it only leaves the people to question their governor. So at this point in time, if governors come out to say, okay, we want to improvise, we want to, do something about this because we are the ones who the citizens will hold responsible, then I think it is a right step in the right direction. But then there's something that is very uncomfortable to me here, because in as much as security is now their problem, like I said before, it is constitutionally not their
problem.
Yes, it's not their business. It is their problem, but it's constitutionally not their job.
But
it practically now
come to them.
Yes. Practically now it is their job. But what I'm just saying, what is very uncomfortable to me, and what they'll not regularly say, or what they will rarely say on TV, is that security votes have become one of the least interrogated, least explained, most abused, mismanaged public expenditures in Nigeria. We cannot account for it most of the time. And I'm saying this with my full chest. We cannot account for it most of the times. And, if you spend that much money and violence is still expanding, what do you leave the people at? The one thing is very clear, that, things is happening because we can see that the money is not reaching the grassroots, where all of these security issues are happening. It's not reaching there, meaning funds are being mismanaged. Or it could be that we are not having the right strategy. We don't have the right strategy in place, or the strategies we have are wrong. Exactly. And so, they are, let's say, they are reactive, or they are elite focused, maybe. Because I'm seeing a lot here, or maybe the system is leaking badly and we need to patch it.
Really.
We really need to patch it. But in general, you have something to say.
So this is a disturbing one, I must say, really. Security is not all about money.
Exactly.
It's not all about money. It is about trust and proper strategy. Imagine a country spending or a state spending over, or budgeting over 500 billion, not million, 500 billion for security reasons. And now, how do you expect people to feel? People won't trust you. They don't trust you. The people are scared to travel. Since 2023, we keep hearing budgets on security, and these are the kind of huge amounts that they are looking forward to.
Yes, no police station in some villages.
Exactly. People are still scared to travel. People don't trust wherever they are going to. People don't even trust staying in their room. And then all these huge amounts of money is being budgeted for security reasons. I think it's high time the government starts showing us accountability. We
Exactly.
need accountability, we need transparency, and we need community policing.
Exactly.
It's not about budgeting, and we are not seeing anything. We're not seeing proper management, we're not seeing proper use of funds. We need accountability. We need a proper strategy, like you've rightly said. Maybe we are lacking the very best strategy that should be used when it comes to budgets or security reasons. I mean, it's not about money, spending such huge amounts of money or asking for such huge amounts of money. They should do better. Security personnel should be allocated to the areas where they are supposed to be.
Exactly.
Imagine what is still happening in Adamawa and Borno. No, those people too, they need to be secured. I don't know. Do they need security to secure them? I don't know, including the security people, they need to be secured too. How would you do that? They need proper arms, like the gadgets that they need for those security, for protecting the people in those very small communities and the rest of them. Them too, they need security. They need their salaries so that to trigger them to fight, so that to trigger them to protect the people that they are supposed to protect. I mean, it's high time we start seeing clarity. Let us be clear. What are this money used for? What is it used for? Or how is it planned to be used? Do we need to adopt strategy from, I don't know.
We should.
Should we adopt strategy from other countries?
Yes.
Really, because we need trust.
This morning, I think some equipment just came in from the US. Yes, for the military. Yes, for the military. So I guess maybe these are the where the monies are going into. We hope so that the right thing is done and people get to, like you said, like you stressed on trust. Like we hope that people get to trust the system completely, because where we want to see the change is on ground for ordinary people. So moving to the next story. Okay, the National Identity Management Commission and with over 7.5 billion naira, followed by the Federal Ministry of Education, as the government spends or expands digital systems across identity management, education, health, finance, cybersecurity, and immigration. Other agencies will, with large allocations, include the Mining Cadastral Office, the Geological Survey Agency, the National Cybercrime Coordination Center, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, the Ministry of Finance, the Nigeria Immigration Service, and Budget Office of the Federation. In total, 115 agencies made provisions for software acquisition this year. However, the spending has raised fresh concerns over waste, weak oversight, and reliance on foreign software. Regulators say more than half of government IT projects fail due to poor compliance and lack of coordination, while experts warn that continued importation of software drains the local economy. Authorities say new procurement standards and stricter IT clearance rules are being enforced to improve value, transparency, and national digital development. I think this one sounds very, very technical, because it's actually how Nigeria thinks about the future. So I think I like the move about, because on the surface, when you look at these things, it's more like government spending money on software. It sounds kind of progressive, but if you take a deep look at it, because if we want to say, okay, it's progressive, you think about, okay, enhancing digital systems, you think about it from maybe automation, you think about it from bridging that digital divide, you think about it from efficiency and all of those things. Well, if you take a deeper look at this, if you scratch the surface, you see that you begin to see a familiar Nigerian problem is arising here again, because technology without coordination is bringing that brewing that digital divide that we are trying to close. And my biggest concern here is that Nigeria does not have a software problem. That's one thing we must understand. What we have is a governance problem, and it's just wearing this look of a digital problem. But no, I've never believed that we have
problem.
yes, it's not a digital problem. I don't think it's a digital problem, because I know how many schools in Nigeria taught computer science very well, but yet you see Nigerian youth, young teenagers, young people in Nigeria, they'll come out and they know how to navigate their ways around gadgets somehow, you know. So when dozens of agencies all buy software independently, everybody is buying their own. This one comes out and say, we need efficiency, we want to go switch to automation and all. What you often get is that systems that don't talk to each other. First of all, platforms that are abandoned halfway. Because how many people can even operate them in those agencies? You go to different agencies and see the computer will just sit in front of the person there, and
No use.
So what are we buying them for? And you also get licenses that sort of renew yearly without real usage. So I think it's kind of waste of money, and that's how digital projects quietly become new versions of all of those white elephant projects we are talking about. Projects will just be seen as, oh, we have. I mean, we just and I think another thing is that we keep importing software solutions for problems Nigerians already know how to solve. Some of these things I don't know how to explain it again, because it only means that most of all of these public monies are just leaving the country, while local developers are here. They are here underdeveloped, they are underutilized. We are not using them. What are we using all these big brains we have here in Nigeria for, when we need to go and import
another one?
Brains.
Yeah. We
have brains here, we are importing brains. It's waste of money. It's clearly waste of money. So you can't talk about digital sovereignty while we are busy outsourcing digital brains. We have to talk about how I think this problem is very familiar. I think we spoke about something surrounding it yesterday, because to be fair, I'm not saying that digitization is not necessary, and importing knowledge, if need be, is not necessary to an extent. But if we want to put it into a better perspective, is that we are talking about identity management here. We're talking about immigration. We're talking about health surveillance. We're talking about all these things that matters. So digitization, logistics.
Yes.
So digitization is very important. But software is not magic. You are importing software. If the same institution culture that struggles with transparency, this our own our own institution that is struggling with transparency, struggling with accountability, struggling with bureaucratic practices.
Strategy.
I'm just looking at it. Is it the same system? Is it the same institution that wants to run these systems? Is it that same institution? I think all we'll just continue doing is just to digitize inefficiency, and which is not good for us. So I think the key thing here we must get is that technology will not fix all of those weak institutions. Let's get our institutions on check. Let's restructure, and then I think that will be the right way to.
So you've really said it. You've said it all, because this one sounds a bit tricky. I don't know if that is the right language to use, because I know that technology is very important. It is necessary, no doubt. But the question here is, are we using it smartly? Importing these things and not to the country is not the major problem. But are we going to use it smartly? Do we have people to handle it? I think we do. We do. But then, like you rightly said, we are still struggling with a country that is having issues with proper governance. Lack of accountability and all of that. When I hear 24 billion for software, what comes to my mind is not wow, progress.
And we can build software.
That is not what comes to my mind. What comes to my mind is, are we going to do this smartly? Is this going to pay off? And talk about it. We have people who can build these tools. We have young Nigerian tech that can build these tools. So this is like depriving them what they can do. This is like depriving them their job.
This
is going to cause serious unemployment for them.
And then when they run out to seek greener pastures out of the country, will complain that there is brain drain.
Exactly. So that is just it. It is not about trying to. If we want to look for things outside there, it should be this collaboration on how to make security issues to be balanced in this country, not software I don't like you said, I don't think we have software issues
I think
in this country.
Cases like this, I prefer partnership and collaboration.
Exactly. So why don't we just plan on how to develop the ones that we have here, not trying to import. This is us patronizing other people while we are just there. And then we are going to deprive those who are capable of using these tools, who are capable of developing these tools. We are just depriving them their food.
We are not lazy Nigerian youth, so
exactly.
we are
not lazy Nigerian youth
on a better thriving ground.
Seriously, so we just need to develop the ones that we have here, not importing, and then you are now depriving people the local techs that we have here. You are depriving them what they need to do or what they know how to do. So I think better things should be done, really.
Exactly. Okay, let's see the last story we have here. Okay, this from West Africa. A West African social bond has been listed for the first time on the Luxembourg Green Exchange, marking a major milestone for the region's financial markets. On Monday, the WEMO Regional Mortgage Refinancing Company, CRRA UEMOA, that's very long, celebrated the dual listing of its 60 billion CFA social bond on both the West African BRVM and the Luxembourg Stock Exchange. The 15-year 6% bond is issued in local currency and is dedicated to financing affordable housing for low and middle income households across the WEMO region. It is the first UEMOA social bond admitted to the Luxembourg Green Exchange and the first effective dual listing between the BRVM and Luxembourg since both exchanges signed the cooperation agreement in 2022. The move boosts international visibility for West African capital markets and shows that the CFA can attract global investors when backed by strong governance and impact-driven projects. For CRRHUEMOA, it opens new funding channels to address the region's severe housing deficit and supports more inclusive and sustainable urban development. Talking of urban development, I think this is I think this has to be the most refreshing story for today, and I'm not saying this lightly. I'm saying it with all seriousness because what excites me here is not about the listing itself. I just feel like it symbolizes more than what we are seeing in this news in regards of, inclusion, providing housing for, low-income earners. And for once, I'm even seeing West Africa, a West Africa that is not showing up on the global stage as just a region asking for aid. It is providing, a structured, credible financing or financial instrument for itself. And I also feel like this bond also tells investors something very important. Because when Africa stands up and say we want to do something for ourselves, you don't need to drag investors to come in. Investors like a place that is structured. Investors like a place that is balanced. Investors like a place that is secured. They like where they can have, it's not that they are afraid of risks, but they just need certainty to an extent. And this is what we are doing with this. Because if you look at the African market, it is not properly designed. And that's why I like what the AFCTA and the ADBN was trying to do throughout last year, trying to create that intra-African trading systems and whatnot. I really liked it because it's kind of redesigning the African market, opening the African market and the African value chain, making it more predictable, making it more, investable, making it more, impactful. If investors see things like this, they will not run away. And when we talk about housing is a very, very, very important social issue that we take lightly most of the times. A lot of people in Africa here are homeless. I was laughing the other day, and it's not funny, that people are renting in Lagos, people are renting houses under the bridge. I don't know who gave those ones the land or the landlords to be landlords of under bridge. They just put woods and put whatever, and people are renting, for a huge amount of money. I'm telling you, hundreds of naira. So housing is very, very important. It's not just an economic issue, it's a social issue, and because it affects every aspect of our livelihood, whether mentally or psychologically, every aspect of our livelihood. So when people have stable homes, you begin to see productivity. You see that the economy will improve, cities will grow. You will see an organized city. You will begin to think long-term, planning, a more developed country. So financing housing is actually financing social stability, and that is what we want. And I see it here, because if we want to even balance optimism and realism here, you will notice that all of these international listings don't automatically mean local people will feel the impact. So that is where I am now calling them to action, because the real text is where is that that's why I say I like this story, because it's on the surface now and on press release now, it's more like it's calling for inclusion. But then where the real test will be is when we see ordinary families having access to homes. People can benefit from this, and not just that we'll start having Uno man. If you have network, elitists, all those connected buyers will start having people who have money. Those are the people that can afford, that can now get it. We want to see that low-income earners, people that are ordinary families, people who can afford, have access to these homes. And, what I see here is just about governance. If we have our governance rights, most of these, because global investors, they are not sentimental.
Exactly.
They are not sentimental at all. They just want a place that is structured, like I say, where there are rules, the rules are transparent, there's structure and all of these things. And altogether, I think this is Africa responding to its problem properly.
Yes. This story at least kind of lightened up our day from the previous news that we've seen. But then I think, yes, it actually gives hope, and it shows that when Africa rather tries to do things properly with good structure, transparency, the world is willing to invest. Exactly. Really, when we do things in a structured manner, when we do things in a transparent way, the world is really ready to, invest. So I like the fact that from what you said is on paper, from what we see, that from what we read, it looks like both those people that are homeless, the less privileged, they'll be able to benefit from this housing investment. So I think it is a good one. It will also help to bring, good cities and reduce the amount of people that are on unsafe places.
Exactly.
So I think it is a good one, really.
Exactly.
If it is well done, and if it is not dependent on just the those who can afford it, the big people, the rich people, is to just spread. Let it be on a normal level, where everyone can access it, when everyone can, afford it. But I think it is a good one, and it is a good thing that this company that is involved, I like the fact that the investors can trust them. The Luxembourg, yes, I like the fact that they can be trusted.
Okay, so I guess that's the much we can take Chidera for the news review segment, because we cannot wait to bring the discussion segments with you. Like we said, we have expert review, and yes. So let's take the recap of the stories we brought your way. And the first story we brought your way is that Nigeria state set aside over 500 billion naira for security amid rising killings.
Then we brought to you that NIMC, 9 federal agencies to spend 24 billion naira on software in 2026.
Okay, and the last one is that West African Social Bond makes historic debut on LUXEMBOURG exchange.
Let's go on a quick break now. We'll come back to the discussion segment after the short break. Stay with us.
Number 5. Space-based internet and satellite mega constellations. Getting online anywhere on Earth is becoming a reality. SpaceX's Starlink already has over 6,000 satellites in orbit, serving more than 3 million subscribers as of mid-2025. OneWeb, Amazon's Project Kuiper, and China's Huawei constellation are racing to expand coverage too. These networks are targeting rural areas, disaster zones, and developing countries where laying fiber is too costly. But they also raise new challenges, like orbital congestion and light pollution affecting astronomy. By 2026, satellite internet will be more than a backup. It will be part of everyday global infrastructure. Number 9. hyper-personalized AI tutors and education tech. Education is going through a shift similar to what we've seen in entertainment and shopping. Hyper-personalization. Instead of one-size-fits-all lessons, AI tutors adapt in real time to how a student learns. Khan Academy launched Khanmigo, an AI-powered guide that helps students with math, science, and coding, while also assisting teachers with lesson planning. Duolingo uses AI to personalize language lessons, serving over 80 million monthly users worldwide. Global Market Insights projects that the AI and education market could surpass $30 billion by 2032. By 2026, AI tutors may become as common as textbooks once were.
Good to have you back. This is the Idea Morning Digest, and before we went on the break, I told you that we'll be bringing a guest, and today we are talking about a humanitarian issue that's quietly unfolding within Nigeria's borders, and one that sits at the intersection of security, governance, and human dignity. So just to get the context right, new figures from the United Nations Refugee Agency revealed that over 21,000 refugees and asylum seekers in Nigeria remain unregistered. And we have a fellow from the African Liberty that is going to be, joining us today, and he's going to be helping us unpack this. We're going to be joined by Kumbo Maboso, a policy analyst and assistant fellow with African Liberty. Kumbo specializes in governance, public policy, and political economy, with a strong focus on border governance, humanitarian policy, and state capacity in Africa. He holds an honors degree in actuarial science from the University of Malawi and has worked extensively on issues affecting refugees, internally displaced persons, and fragile administrative systems across the continent. Thank you for joining us, Kumbo. I hope I got your name correctly.
It is correct.
Good morning, Kumbo.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us this morning. How is Malawi? Can you hear me?
Thank you so much. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Okay. I say, how is Malawi? Hope is Malawi as cold. Malawi is as cold as Nigeria today.
Malawi is very not cold as such. It's mild.
Okay. Okay. So let's just head straight to the questions we have for you today. We want to understand. Because this report was released yesterday. Let's start with the numbers. Reports suggest that over 21,000 refugees in Nigeria are still unregistered. And from a policy and governance standpoint now, how big a risk is this both for, the refugees themselves and for the countries hosting them?
I would say this is a serious issue. It's a serious security issue because when you have such number that is unregistered, it actually means that these people are deprived of their basic human rights. Having undocumented people in the country, it means that they are not recognized. They do not have status in the country, and it may so pose a security issue because the government might not know how many refugees are in the country because they do not have registration.
Okay, so you're saying that when people are saying it's just a delay, you are saying that the implications go much deeper than that.
Yes,
Okay.
it's not just a delay. It's a very serious situation. It's a security issues, and in some countries like Uganda, it has had serious security consequences.
Okay, so I think that already sounds like a ticking political policy issue, and not just a minor administrative one. So to my next question, before I leave Chidera to follow up with the next question, government agencies often point to logistic challenges as and security concerns, and you've mentioned that as reasons for delayed refugee registration. So in your view, are these genuine constraints, or they just reflect deeper gaps in coordination, in funding or political will?
Mostly these are more into unfunctional institutions in the country. Like there's lack of coordination and all that. It's not more of it's a matter of preparation. It actually means that the government has not really prepared before when it comes to these issues. So the government is supposed to have more or less like a predicted funding going towards the refugee part, so that these issues should be addressed. But also, as I said, it might also be that the immigration, for example, and the security guards, there is no proper coordination between these institutions, which poses a threat or a point to say there is a need for reform on that one. Because in a democratic governance, a problem like this one might actually cause for reforms rather than delays or backlogs as it is for now in Nigeria.
Okay. So that being said, want to know, what are the immediate human consequences for refugees who remain undocumented for a long period? What are the consequences, the human consequences?
Thank you, Chidela. Thank you, Judea, for that.
Okay, I said, what are the immediate human consequences for these refugees that remained undocumented for a long period of time?
Okay, one, they lack access to health facilities. Two, they also lack access to the formal economy. So you'd see that there is more competition from the informal economy, because now these undocumented people or refugees, they may not be able to register their businesses and all that, and they may bring more competition to the formal market.
I think that puts refugees in survival mode, not recovery mode.
Yes.
So can
Yes.
can you it's okay, let me just ask so from a national security perspective now, if we want to take it to how do you think, how does a growing backlog of unregistered refugees now affect Nigeria's control and internal security efforts? I know this is not just about Nigeria, it's peculiar to all African countries. I know you're not a Nigerian, but you have that knowledge about what is happening in African countries. So how do you think this growing backlog of unregistered refugees can affect Nigeria's border control and internal security efforts, given the fact that we are, faced with so many insecurity challenges in the moment?
That is very true. As far as you have got undocumented number of people in the country, like refugees, as it is in the case, you find that institutions in the country are not having adequate resources in order to, for example, health resources in order to that is enough for the community or for the population itself. So as also on the pondering on the security issue itself, you may find that there may be other people with ill intent that are in the country. So you cannot differentiate of people that are seeking asylum in the country and those people that are really that have got ill minds in the country. So the solution to it is to expedite the process of registration, maybe have more institutions or maybe regional blocks to come in so that they can help in sorting out the registration issue.
I think that's a very powerful paradox there.
Really, it is. So, want to know what role should regional bodies and neighboring countries play, given that many refugees are still flying across borders with this conflict that is on ground?
Yeah. As Africa, because of the wars that we are facing, for example, from the Great Lakes, Cameroon, we will still have these refugees coming in and out. But now it is the role of the regional blocks to have more like a shared pool of resources. For example, registration can be automated. They can use technology now to register, for example, using biometrics. Now, this will help like having one database within the region where now there will not be duplication of refugees in one country. But also, we may have like a predicted funding towards the refugees. What I mean is now if the Legion of Brooks have set aside some money to help in terms of the refugees, now it means we will not have these issues like having undocumented refugees, because money will already or resources will already be aside, maybe to hire more people so that you can sort this thing out. I mentioned an idea of technology. With technology now, you don't need a lot of human personnel so that you document. It's easy and it's faster. But this can be a coordinated effort within the Legion bloc or neighboring countries coming together and coming up with a solution, so that even legislation itself is faster, and these immigrants or refugees are able to access resources within the nation.
Interesting. So I'll go back to the case of Nigeria again, because we are being laden with a very heavy burden at this point in time. We're not just talking about the case of refugees now. In Nigeria, because of the insecurity issues, we are dealing with millions of internally displaced persons currently.
Yes.
Talk of Benue State, talk of, even there are some IDP camps here in Abuja, in the FCT. How sustainable do you think it is for a country like Nigeria, given our situation currently, to manage both these problems, refugees and internally displaced persons at scale, especially with limited resources? At what point do you think this is going to strain us? Is it going to turn us? Is it going to break us down completely? Or how do you think? At what point do you think this is going to strain us?
I should say this is very unsustainable. The Jews state that is there, where you have people within the Nigeria display like
just few months back, and they were in shock that people are still internally displaced in the states. Okay, I think we have Kumbo back. Okay, good to have you back.
Sorry.
Yes, did you get my
Yes,
question?
I
Should I
had
go
a
over it
network
again?
crunch. Yes. As I was saying, this is very unsustainable for Nigeria, where now you have got internally displaced persons. And in addition to that, you also have refugees to cater for. The resources, as you're putting it, as it is this right now, around 21,000 refugees have been displaced, meaning as refugees, and now you also have a huge number of internal displaced persons. You can actually see to say, without proper funding or without international partnership or just immediate aid from an international organization, the country might break. So, which now suggests to say, in a democracy now, with if this situation is to prolong, now you have a lot of security issues. You will have a lot of people that are not accessing their basic human rights, like registrations or birth certificates, because now even those people that the refugees, they may also be producing as well, like having babies and all that, and the babies which will be born from these refugees which are not documented might as well not have a registration as in birth certificates or so. So they may be stateless. So this is not sustainable to say.
Okay, the way we took a deep breath regarding that. Okay, go ahead, Chidele.
Yeah, but that being said, do you think there are economic or social implications for host communities, being that these refugees remain outside formal system? Do you think there are implications, economic implications or social implications?
Yes, there are economic and also social implications there. As I said, that these people might not be able to participate fully in the formal economy because now they do not have papers or certificates or like registration and all that. So there will be a lot of informal activity happening. Now, with this informal activity happening, it means now there will be a huge competition to the formal market. What I'm trying to drive at is that these refugees might want to survive as well in the economy. they may have businesses that even the government of Nigeria might not be able to collect taxes from, because they cannot collect taxes from businesses that are not registered, from people that are not recognized as well. And this might also cause a threat to the social stand, like the community around, because now, because these people are not registered legally, they may not be even taken to court to what status are they of. And they may even have ill intention when doing this informal business. So it may end up to say people have been robbed of their money and all that. So it is causing a huge economic and also a social problem.
Interesting. I think that reframes the refugee debate entirely for me here. But um, I'll go back to asking a question on international obligations. Yes, just want to get the reality in check here, because we have international and regional asylum frameworks, which Nigeria have a commitment to. And under our commitment now, would you say that the country is fully meeting its obligations, or mostly responding reactively when crises emerge?
Nigeria is trying its best, but more I would say it's reacting to the situation. I mentioned to say the institutions might not be functioning fully, or there is no coordination within the institutions. And it also shows lack of funding, funding to to these issues, because it's not like this issue has just risen from somewhere, but now it has been an issue that has been there for a period. It means the government should have a foreseeable funding option, or international corporations that were already maybe set aside to say if this situation reaches to another extent, then this is what we are going to do. So this particular way, it lacks also a strategy. But all in all, Nigeria is reacting as it is trying to sort this particular situation.
Okay, talking about technology now, because that brings technology to my mind. Because when we talk about technology, we're talking about solutions now, and
Solutions, yeah.
yes, humanitarian protection. Now that's where I want us to hit, because you mentioned technology, if I can remember clearly,
Yeah.
and how technology can be a solution here. But I'm just thinking, let's go wrap our heads around ethical considerations. Let's wrap our heads around national security as well, because we are complaining that some of these immigration issues brings. Okay, do we still have Kumbo there? Okay.
Yes, yes.
So
Can you
okay,
get me
okay.
there?
So we are complaining that some of these issues, some of these immigration issues, brews national security problems and the insecurity challenges we've been facing. So you talking about technology now as the solution. Do you think it can help, speed up registration without compromising national security?
Thank you so much. Technology is a solution to many problems, but it has to be also responsible technology. There are security issues indeed in technology, but I feel like technology might also help to solve the problem at hand, the refugee crisis in Nigeria right now. What I'm trying to talk about is, for example, issue of biometrics. For example, it may help in the capturing of refugees fast as well, using refugee systems. Now, I'm not just talking about technology within Nigeria, but this might also be, for it to be sustainable, this might also be maybe within the region of bloc, for example, ECOWAS, countries within ECOWAS having one system and having one database where now all legislations are being registered in that particular database. And this might bring us closer to say now there'll be like a shared budget for the same technology. Because as far as technology is efficient, but it is also a little bit costly as well in a short run, but it's less costly in a long run. So technology, it's a very good solution and it might not pose any security issues. It's just a need of managing security issues that may come because of using technology.
Very interesting.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes, very interesting indeed.
Mm.
So yes, from what we've gathered, we see that you've talked about technology as part of ways that we can get this to get sorted out. But then, want to ask, what do you think? What are the steps you think the Nigerian government and the international partners? What are the steps you think they should take immediately to prevent these issues from escalating further?
Okay, thank you so much, Tira. I think the first thing that the government of Nigeria has to do immediately is to declare that there is a situation, a refugee situation in Nigeria, and is seek international help. What I'm trying to pull in is that when the consequences have, when the government has accepted that they have got a problem, more organization will come in and they help in this particular situation. Secondly, the government of Nigeria need to also seek help from ECOWAS, the regional bloc that they are in. Even they might as well take off the burden to some countries that are within ECOWAS itself. And there is a need for a predictable funding for the government of Nigeria. So the government of Nigeria need to put money aside for these refugees. That is to say, sustainable money stream for these refugees, so that immediately the number might decrease. We had a case in Uganda where now the legal framework there suggests that about 90 days people seeking asylum should be registered. But now it was taking about 1.5 years without people registering. But then they had now serious reforms, and also they had funding into registration, and up until the situation came to a point where they're able to manage refugees that are getting into Uganda. So maybe Nigeria can also take a leaf from and learn from the case of Uganda, so that this situation might be sorted.
I think so far I think I like how you've been stressing on strategic solutions, and also not just strategic solutions, but ensuring that these strategic solutions are effective, because that's the key word there. But let me just paint a I want you to just paint a worst case scenario just to wrap this up. If those steps are taken, these steps that you have mentioned, if they are taken soon, what's the worst case scenario? Or if they aren't taken soon, what's the worst case scenario rather?
If they were, sorry.
If they aren't, all of these steps, all of these solutions you have pointed out, if they are not taken into considerations, what's the worst case scenario?
Okay, the worst case scenario is that there will be a big security issue. Security will be at stake in Nigeria, because as more people are coming in to seek asylum in Nigeria, other people of ill intent may also find this opportunity, because now there is a loophole of unregistered refugees in Nigeria. So when we talk about security now, it means now we may not have a working economy, because now there's competition from the informal market. We may also have people being robbed, so peace within Nigeria might also be of a challenge. So security-wise, there may be a major problem.
Okay, thank you very much, Kumbo. Thank you for your very precise answers and for your time. And yes, that's Kumbo. Hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Yes, that's
Combo,
Kumbo
yes, that's
Maboso, a
correct.
policy analyst and the an assistant rather, an assistant fellow with African Liberty. Thank you for your time once again.
Thank
So
you.
that's the much we can take for today. We want you to, join the conversations here. The issue of refugees is not just about borders, it's not just about humanity, it's not just about responsibility and, the kind of society we choose to build. You can continue the discussion with us on our social media platforms as Idea Television. Follow, comment, and share your thoughts. Also, if you want to use the hashtag, you can use the hashtag Invisible Refugees NG, that's Nigeria, or Idea TV. Join us online, stay informed, and be part of the conversations that shapes policy and our lives and our actions as well. Thank you for watching. My name is Cynthia Bassi, and I have been with
Chidera Okeri.
All right, and that's how we say bye for now.
Bye for now.